Okay, so welcome everybody to our Monday nights Liveloved Meetup. I know we haven't had one for a couple of weeks. Hey, my name is Rachel Valentine, one of the leaders on the Liveloved team. I want to do very quickly a big just survey, lay of the land for business for our Plexus team. There's some pretty amazing things going on. Let me pull up my screen. 1 second. So, first of all, big things for today's meetup. You can hear Hayden's clapping apparently in the background, so he's very excited. So tonight is really, really exciting to me because we get to spend some time having just a heart-to-heart conversation with our friend, our fellow sister, Lisa Judy, whom most of us have been watching and cheering on in her journey over the last few years, but really over the last year. She has had some pretty amazing transformation happen, but I think it's because there's been a foundation that's been set before this last year. So we will hear more from Lisa, which I'm really excited about. I know without a doubt that she will give inspiration to so many people. Because the number one thing that I know about people who stick with Plexus and see the most pronounced change are honestly, and Lisa and I have had this conversation, the people who start and are really desperate. Like, it's either this Plexus thing works or, I mean, there's really just nothing else. I've exhausted the options. So I'm really excited for everybody to hear her story. Before we do that, because that will be the bulk of our meetup tonight. Just order of business. I want to do some shout outs because we wrapped up the month of September and it was an amazing month, you guys. We had 28 team and new enrollments for the month. And I mean, it's been a very long time since we have had that many new enrollments. I want to give special shout outs to 3 individual ladies, although there were so many teammates that showed up in major ways for the month of September. But I want to give major shout outs to Lisa Judy. Lisa, you had 6, is that right? Yep, for the month of September. Celeste Ryan ended the month of September with 9 enrollments, which means she swept all of the Maui prizes. Lisa got the 2 levels, right, of Maui prizes. So that's exciting. Jewelry, sunglasses, and shoes, I think, were the 3 things. And then I want to give a shout out to Jenna Wagler. Is that how I say her last name, Billy? I can't see you, but I know you're on. She not only got silver under her own account in the month of August, but in the month of September, she had under her husband's account, Miles had him go to silver. So that's a pretty big deal because there's a lot of times where that first hurdle of silver seems really hard. And she just knocked it out. So, and she was sneaky about doing it because I know Billy and myself, we completely missed it and felt awful about it because she was so quiet. I want to focus. I want you to know that the month of October, you guys, Plexus is pulling out all the stops. I don't know how many of you have looked at the holidays and have ever stressed out because of finances, because of holiday travel expenses, because all of a sudden there's all this extra money that has to go to food and potlucks and family gatherings and hostings. And then, of course, there's gifts, etc. But I can tell you in the Valentine household that the holidays have been stressful when it comes to the financial standpoint. Even though we try to set limits on our boys so that they know they only get so much, it always has felt for a very long time like we just rubbed in against financial stress, which of course we know is not the reason for this season. So I love that in October, for anyone who sets their mind and says, look, I'm going all in, right, in the month of October, Plexus is willing to give big rewards. So just a reminder, sign 3 people in the month of October, you get an extra $150 bonus on top of all of the regular welcome pack bonuses. You sign 6, you get $500, you guys. Sign 9, you get $650. Sign 12, and you get $1,000. Like, I don't know how many people having an extra $1,000 in 1 month, not including, of course, the commissions that you get on the building welcome pack bonuses. Not also knowing that right now there's $10 off $99 welcome packs, and there's $20 off $199 welcome packs. But honestly, and then of course they've added on for those who have achieved a rank and then lost that rank with points. There's additional bonuses to be had. So maybe once upon a time you were a silver or you were a gold, right? And then your points backed up. You could get not only those extra bonuses for signing more people that I just mentioned, but you could get a re-rank bonus on top of that. I don't know about you, but I feel like this month is the month to focus, to get serious, to get real. I put in our chat, and so if you're not a member of the chat, I will also link it in the Liveloved team page. But I think I found, where did I find this? It was under like Brooke Hemingway's group, because they're doing this push for the last 90 days. It's kind of a play on what Rachel and Dave Hollis are doing. But you guys, this little document it's really good. So just to let you see what this is, in case you're like me and you tend to go a little like squirrel, 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 and you can't focus. Yep. You're not sure what are your action steps every day. This document helps you focus. Okay, so it says your last 90 days of 2019. It starts you off planning your day. Just planning your day. So I love that there's things that you're grateful for, 10 dreams that you have. So you can definitely see how this goes off of the Hollis 5 to Thrive thing that they do for their last 90 days. But then what are your top priorities for this day? Map it into your hour, like hour by hour. What are you going to do? What are your non-negotiables? And then there's this lovely business tracker. So this is something that Sherry Lang has been encouraging me to do for a long time. And I'm going to start doing it again this month, keeping track of my daily point value every day in the virtual office, so that month by month you can see where your growth is happening, or you can see where you begin to fall off, where your team is beginning to backslide. And you can actually be able to track that. You can see where last month's points were, last month's ads on, the number of 190 or percentage of 199 welcome packs that you have. Why is that important? Because if you have a 199 pack, it's much more likely that your person is going to be active that next month. You can see that there's new ambassador goals for your team, personal goals, a welcome pack goal, silver goals. I know that Lisa has been making this a really beautiful priority to help figure out how does she bring some of her people to cast vision on what it would mean for them to go silver, and duplication. So this is helping you think about duplication. Again, here's more. You can do, who are your runners, like that are doing the hard thing? And maybe you're brand new and you don't have runners yet. So identify the ones that you see potential in and start pouring belief into them. Again, I mean, you can see this for yourself. You can download it, but here's a brain dump of ideas. And then lastly, they just included the plexus helps. So there's leads that you didn't know that you have. And then, of course, income producing activities every day that are mapped out. So I love it because it gives us focus. It reins us in. And at the very end of this, I'm going to offer a challenge, and we're going to call it something like following in Lisa's footsteps. I'm going to shorten that to something. I'm serious, Lisa. You've inspired us. And so we're going to create a movement that is following the pathway that Lisa has set for us. It may not be meeting what you have done, and I will let you talk about what you've been doing with activity for a long time. But I think it has to do with showing up consistently. So I will talk about that at the end, but I don't want to beleaguer anymore. So how we're going to do this, I think, Lisa, if you're okay with this, is I'm just going to do this like an interview style format. I kind of gave you the questions verbally.
Okay.
And don't be worried or scared. Okay, just speak your heart. That's all. Just speak your heart. Okay. So this is Lisa Judy, right? And Lisa, you are Billy Joe's level 1. Is that right?
Right. Yes.
And I can't hear you, which isn't going to work.
You can't hear me? My microphone is on. Yeah, I'm talking now.
Okay. Can everyone else hear her? Because I can't hear her.
I can hear her.
You can hear her?
Too. Yep, I can too, Rachel.
Maybe it's my volume. Hold on. If everyone else can hear you. Hold on. Hey, Jane. Hey, Jamie. Jamie, can you help me a minute? I'm stuck.
Why?
Because I can't hear.
Did you just say I suck?
No, I didn't say I suck. I said I'm stuck. I can't get sound because Lisa is talking and I can't hear it. And she's not muted. Oh, there it is. Corner.
Could you hear anybody else? Oh, I guess you can't hear me, so that's not going to help.
Thank you.
Rachel, can you hear anyone else?
Now, we had the computer muted.
Carson had the computer muted because he doesn't want us to hear what he's doing when he's in here, so he mutes it so that we can't hear the volume.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay. Goodbye.
Thank you, Jamie.
Come on, dogs. Come on.
Oh, funny.
Oh, okay. All right. So, did you hear him say, I said I was stuck, and he said, what, you suck? That's like how we roll. You don't suck. Okay.
That's good.
Now I can hear you. Lisa, can we do this as an interview-ish? Informal?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, informal is good. Otherwise, I'll be too nervous.
No nerves, because no, it's just us.
Okay.
It's just us. First, I'm wondering, Lisa, can you share a little bit about what was going on with your health journey? Corey says, no nerves, it's family for you. So can you give us just a little bit of background? Like what was
Uh,
health like, but what was like your life like for you before you started playing?
uh, to make it short, it's hard because I was in bad shape. I was really exhausted. Um, I lived every day with daily pain. Um, I had a lot of joint pain, back pain. I slept less than 2 hours at a time. And so I would wake up in the morning and I would be exhausted. I'd wake up in the night and get up, and then I would lay back down, and I just couldn't go back to sleep. And I think I would just get so exhausted I'd fall back to sleep. But I'd wake up in the morning and I was just so tired, and I wanted to stay in bed, but I couldn't stay in bed because my back hurt so bad. I had to get up, and like the first 5 to 10 steps out of bed was bad. I mean, it was just painful. Um, and then my gut was in really bad shape. I had been on a stomach pill for about 12 years. When one would quit working, they would change me to another one. And that was just how it was. I would take pills for reflux and heartburn. And so I was in really bad shape, and it got so I was having really bad pains, like right at the right at the base of my rib cage. And sometimes it would get bad, like it would be from eating something, but sometimes it would get so bad, like the pain would radiate up into my shoulder and my arms. And it would scare me, and then my anxiety would brew up, and then I would be like, oh my gosh, am I having a heart attack? And a couple times I ended up in the ER. I had been on an anxiety med for 4 years as well. I was a mess. I'd try to exercise, but then I'd go out and, my knees would hurt so bad, and my feet. I mean, I would get plantar fasciitis. And if you've ever had that, it's just horrible pain. And so I couldn't exercise. I had been to the doctor several times. They had done so many tests on me. I had blood tests. I had had scopes down to my stomach. I had laid on a table and they scanned my organs. I'd had genetic testing done, so many things, and they just couldn't figure it out. I'd had a stress test, and that was an eye-opening thing for me. We drove to Topeka for that, and I walked in, and like everyone in that room was old. And then here I am, I'm like 40, and everybody else was like in their 60s. And I'm like, and I said to my husband, I'm like, this is not good. I mean, I'm 40 years old and I'm having these horrible health problems. And I will never forget that. I mean, it was just one of those moments that stuck in my head. But I was in bad shape. I mean, so the doctors weren't giving me any answers. So I had a friend that had started eating really healthy, and she's like, okay, try this paleo diet, try to start cutting stuff out of your diet. So I started cutting things out, and it got a little bit better, but it just had a lot of problems, and I didn't feel good. I had a lot of inflammation in my body, which at the time I didn't really realize it as inflammation. But every time we would travel, like we'd drive home to Iowa, my ankles would just get so huge and puffy, and I just felt bad. I was depressed. I had no energy. I didn't want to do things with my kids. I didn't feel good. I hated my body. I hated the way I looked. My self-esteem was what?
Miserable.
Yes, my self-esteem was like zero. I hated to have my picture taken. I would hide behind people because I didn't want to be in the shirts. And I mean, some of you know, I've shared before, I never ever took a selfie until probably like, I don't know, a year ago or something. I didn't want pictures of myself. And but with all that said, my husband, he always loved me.
Yeah. He always loved you. He always saw the you inside of you underneath all of that. Yeah. And this is the point. So Lisa's really sharing her vulnerable heart with us. But I think the point of this is honestly that there are people right now that so many of us know and love who are feeling so many of the same things. Moms who are hiding from the camera with literally years of their children's life that they are not in a single photograph of. Moms and wives who live from the couch, who struggle with chronic pain and are just trying their best to get through the day and give the best that they have, but feeling every day like it's just not enough, and it's not good enough. The quality of life is not good enough. Lisa, I'm wondering, how did you come to know about Plexus, and what was your journey like to saying yes to it?
So Billy was one of my sister's best friends in high school, and she was posting about it on Facebook, and so I would see her posts, and almost every time she posted, I would be like, yep, I have that problem. She would post, are you exhausted? Do you have problems with reflux? Do you have trouble sleeping? All these things. And it was like, yep, that's me. And, but I was just really skeptical because I didn't like taking pills. I was not a believer in vitamins. The only time I ever took vitamins was when I took prenatals when I was pregnant because the doctor made me take them. But so I watched her post for a very long time. And but what made me contact her was I teach first grade, and so I would have a math group in the afternoons, and I would be sitting around the table with these 4 kids at the table, and I would be nodding off during the lesson. And the kids would be like, "Are you okay, Miss Judy? Are you all right?" And I'd be like, yeah, I'm fine. And I'd have to stand up and walk around the table because I just could not keep my eyes open. I would be driving sometimes. Well, sometimes I just would like be nodding off, and then I'd get where I was supposed to be. And I'd be like, I was just thankful I made it there because I was so tired. I'm surprised I didn't fall asleep when I was driving. So anyway, it just so happened that Billy made this post about, do you feel like you need a nap in the afternoon? Do you need a sugary snack to get you going? And that was the signal. I was like, okay, I've got to send her a message. So I don't even think that Billy probably even knew that I was thinking about this. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later at the end. But so I messaged her. I'm like, okay, you got to tell me about this. And then she asked me about my health. And then I think I just like vomited out all my problems. And she was probably like, oh my gosh, this girl is falling apart. But, after she kind of explained to me about it, I'm pretty cheap. I don't like to spend a lot of money on myself. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this ambassador thing. And I honestly, I didn't have a lot of confidence, but there was that little bit of hope that, okay, this is helping people. And I trusted Billy. I mean, I know what kind of person she is, and I knew that she was being honest with me. And because that's really important to me. It's an important quality in a person is being able to trust them. And I definitely trusted her. And so I just decided to try it. And I talked to Brad because the cost was the barrier for me. And I just told Brad, I'm like, look, I got to do something. Nothing I'm doing is working. Can I try this? And so we agreed that I would sign up as an ambassador and that I would try it. And so honestly, I was like, okay, I'll give it a few months and then just see. But I had said, okay, I can do it up to a year if it seems to be working. But I told Billy Joe, I'm like, I'm not sharing this. This is not a business for me. This is not something that I'm going to tell people about. And so, yeah, that was kind of how it started. So do you want me to kind of talk about my detox a little bit? So,
Yeah, you read my mind.
so I'll tell you, had I not been at such a low point in my health, I probably would not have continued. And I think I kind of scared Billy too, because I mean, it was bad. When I first started, I couldn't even drink a whole Slim. I had such horrible heartburn. I thought I was going to die. And every time I took something, I mean, I told Brad, I'm like, okay, this is what I took, you know, in case something happens to me. I know it sounds just crazy, but I mean, I had such anxiety about it, but I was like, I have to do this. So I worked my way up to a whole Slim, and then very slowly, you know, added in BioCleanse. And then with the ProBio, I had to go every other day because I just couldn't handle it. I mean, I had muscle and joint aches and pains, and my reflux and my heartburn was just magnified. Headache, stomach ache. I mean, I think I probably had every kind of detox that you could have. But Billy was so reassuring, and you know, and she had told me ahead of time, you know, all these things that you've told me, you could have some detox. You know, it's been building up. All of these things were just like layer upon layer of health problems. And so she had, you know, been open with me and told me that I could go through detox. And so I did have that in my mind, but it was pretty bad. But I just said, okay, I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to do it. I mean, I have no other choice. What else am I going to do? The doctors can't help me. So I stuck with it, and I'll tell you what, I know that it was God. This whole thing has been God, because I didn't believe in vitamins, and I know that he is the one that nudged me to do this, because it's so out of my character that I would even like invest $100 in vitamins. Just, I think back about it now, and I'm like, that just was not me. And now, I mean, I will not go a day without it. And so I know that God has had his hand in this. You know, he has orchestrated every single step for me. But yeah, I mean, I made it through the detox, and I noticed some small things right away. Like in the afternoons, I was starting to not fall asleep as much. And probably about at 4 months, I was really starting to feel good. And I was noticing, oh my gosh, I haven't had a headache in a long time, because I used to get a lot of headaches. And
So let's
and
pause.
just other things.
Let's pause. So that's 4 months, right?
Right.
When you
But I mean, sooner than that, I mean, you know, after the first month, I was starting to have a little more energy. I mean, little things I was noticing. But it was probably at 4 months where I was like, man, I think this stuff is really working. And so I, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep going. There were some days though, I was like, you know, some days I didn't feel different. And I was like, oh man, you know, is it really worth it? You know, is it worth all this money and stuff? But then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this, because then again, you know, I was at that point where it was like, I have to do this. I have to do something, and I'm going to give it my best shot. And so that's what I did. I just stuck with it. Even on the days that I didn't feel like, you know, maybe it was working, I just made myself keep taking it and just keep sticking with it.
Can I ask you this, Lisa? Prior to this experience, were you like the kind of person who would push through on your health? Like, would you be consistent, persistent, like with your eating, with your health?
Oh God, no.
Okay, so there was something.
Right. I had tried. I was really fit and really pretty healthy through high school and college. I played sports in high school and college, both. When I was 21, I rode my bike across the state of Iowa in RAGBRAI. But then, you know, I went to college, and then I had kids, and I started a career, all of the things that, I mean, I would never change. And like the best things that, you know, have happened in my life, getting married and have my kids, and, you know, next to having a relationship with Jesus. But, you know, I just, in giving more of myself to my husband and my kids and my job, I didn't give the time to myself. And so I let my own health go to the wayside, which I'm learning now is not what God wants me to do. But no, I was not good about being consistent. But I think my health was so bad that I was like, okay, I have to do something, because I was like not enjoying my days. I was just trying to get through the days. Now, I mean, I thrive. I enjoy every single day. But back then, I mean, there were days where I'm like, just go to bed. I need to go to, I was trying to get my kids in bed. I didn't enjoy the time. And, I was like, oh, I just can't wait till it's time to lay down. But I don't feel that way now. My husband's like, Lisa, it's midnight. It's time to go to bed. I just want to, I don't know. I feel good. So.
Lisa, can you tell us, like, when this transition began to happen inside of you, where you had said to Billy, I will take this, but I'm never going to share it. I'm not ever going to pursue a business or trying to make money off of this. Like, when did that begin to switch for you?
Well, I have to say, Billy was so good. I mean, I hit silver fast. Like, I didn't even want to have the business, but my sister was already using Plexus. And so she said, well, and she was already, like, before me, she was signed up under Billy. And she's like, well, Lori needs to be under you. So then she moved her under me. And I know my brother-in-law had been talking to her about Plexus, and she said, well, we need to sign him up under you. And then my sister-in-law, and she's like, okay, we're going to sign her up under you. And then before I knew it, I mean, I was silver. And so, but even at that point, I was like, okay, I don't want this business. But then it was June of 2018. So I started the very end of November 2016, so right before 2017. So, I mean, I had been using Plexus for like almost a year and a half. And my friend Lorraine, she shared on Facebook that she had been in the ER and she was having some problems, and that her doctor told her she needed a good probiotic. And I saw that and I was like, and she's my good friend now, but I didn't know her very well then. Our boys were good friends. And I was like, oh man, should I message her? I have like the probiotic, look what it's done for me. But I was so scared. And so, but I was like, okay, you know what? People need what I have. And I was starting to realize that when I was feeling good, I'm like, you know what? People need this. I mean, there are people that are in pain like I was and hurting. And so I messaged her. I mean, I'm thinking she's probably just going to think, I didn't know what she was going to think, that I was just trying to make a buck. I don't know. Anyway, I messaged her. And I was like so worried about what she was going to think. I took her a bottle of BioCleanse. I gave her a whole bottle of BioCleanse that night. I was like, I'm going to give you BioCleanse so you can start on this. And she ordered the ProBio 5. And because I wanted her to know, I really genuinely wanted her to feel better. And so, yeah, I took her a bottle of BioCleanse. She started that. She got her probiotic, and now she loves Plexus, and she is sharing herself, and it's so exciting. But so that was June. Well, then I started walking that summer more because like I had more energy and I was feeling good. But then school started in August, and I kind of just stopped. Well, the wellness team at our school district, they threw out this challenge last September 2018, and they said, okay, if you walk 10,000 steps for 20 days, you're going to win this water bottle. If you do it for 25 days, you go in these drawings. And if you do it for all 30 days of the month, that you would go in for these big drawings. Well, I got a water bottle, but I walked 10,000 steps every single day, Brad and I. And so that was kind of the start of a big thing for me. So I got to the end of the month, and I enjoyed that time so much with my husband, and I just enjoyed getting out, and I was feeling good. I was like, okay, let's go to the end of October. And so we did. We walked every day, 10,000 steps till the end of October. And so I had kind of set that. It became a habit. I set that habit in place, and I was like, okay, well, let's just go to the end of 2018. And so then I decided, okay, I'm walking, and I had upped my water when I started Plexus, but then I was like, okay, I'm doing this. This is something good for me. I want to do something more. And so, and at that time, one night Brad and I were walking, it was probably in like November or so. And I was like, man, I really feel like I need to share about Plexus, but I just, people that know me and love me will understand, and they will believe me when I tell them what Plexus has done for me. Because at that point, I had only lost like 25 pounds, I guess. But the change in my face, like the inflammation was huge. I mean, you could see a difference, but like, I haven't really lost that much weight. I'm still overweight. I'm like, that's kind of the missing piece for me, is the way I look. And I was like, if I could really change my outside, I know that people would really believe me. And so I decided to up my water. So I decided I was going to drink a gallon of water a day. So that was my second little goal. I had pretty much got down on the step goal, and I said, okay, I'm going to start drinking a gallon of water a day. So I did that. We walked our 10,000 steps to the end of the year, which was 122 days. And then I was like, okay, let's just keep on going. And so we did. And then I decided, so after we'd had that conversation, I said, okay, well, that Slay the Season 14-day challenge came up. I said, okay, well, I think I'm going to do this. So I signed up.
That was a Plexus.
And like the first day I did yes, Plexus offered the 14-day Slay the Season challenge. I don't know, it was like in November, I think, something like that. So I'm kind of like, I am a all in or all out kind of girl. It's just kind of how I'm. And I did pretty good the first day, but it was only a 14-day challenge. And then like the second, third day, I just didn't do good. And I'm like, well, shoot, man, I already messed this up. It's only 14 days. And so I just quit. I mean, I just did. And it was not the right thing, but I did. And so, but I thought, okay, here's a start. Maybe I'll make a resolution or whatever. And I'll say I'm going to start eating healthy or whatever. Well, so I kept up with my walking and my drinking of water. And then Plexus, they put out this 60-day slim down challenge. And you could start, I don't know, somewhere between January and February. And so I was like, okay, do this. And I just decided I am doing this. There's no excuses. If any of you have ever done the Whole30, I had done that a few times. And I just love what Melissa Hartwig says in the beginning of it. She says, this is not hard. It's not hard to eat healthy. Battling cancer is hard. Being a single mom is hard. All these things are hard, but eating healthy is not hard. And I'm like, what? Be hard for 60 days. I'm going to make myself do it. And so I made these, I made goals. I said, okay, I'm going to keep my supplements, which that I already had down. There was no way I was giving that up. I was going to keep walking 10,000 steps a day. I was going to keep drinking a gallon of water a day. And I was going to eat clean, totally clean. I was just going to eat protein and a lot of vegetables and a little bit of fruit. I cut out all processed sugars, and I cut out grains. And the only thing, and dairy. I cut out dairy, except for I did use the lean whey protein and the lean vegetarian. And then I added in MetaBurn. So I don't know. I'm kind of just rambling on here. Or do you have more questions?
Well, I'm listening, and what's sticking out for me is, and I wrote this, you decided, like you committed and you went all in.
Right.
And then it seems like even though each of those things that you committed to are like sizable things, you saw them from a larger perspective. And that perspective was, this is not going to kill me to make these choices.
Right.
Right. And it sounds like you were like, I'm going to keep them simple and I'm going to stick to them consistently. Does that sound right?
Right. I know myself, I can't do too many things at once. I just had to pick one thing and make that a habit before I could add something else in. And so again, I was like, okay, I got the walking down, I got the water down. Now I'm going to straighten up my eating. And so I just said, I'm doing this. And I really wanted to do the challenge bad. I added in the Metaburn. That was brand new at the end of November, beginning of December. It had just come out, and I was like, okay, I definitely need some work in my belly and my thighs. And so I did. I went all in. I was completely clean the whole 60 days. I lost 32 pounds in 60 days. I lost 7.5 inches off my waist, 2 inches off each of my thighs. And I felt great. I mean, for the first time, I was like, I can do this. I mean, I knew I could do things, but when I completed that challenge, I was like, you know what? I can do that. I can make this happen. I can get healthy with God's help. I mean, he strengthened me. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I prayed every single day because I knew that I needed to make change in my life, and because I want to be around to see my kids grow up and to know hopefully grandkids one day. And I want to be here for my husband and for all the wonderful things here. I mean, I don't know. But I prayed a lot and got to the end of the challenge, and I felt good. And I mean, I had this, looking at my before and after photos, I was like, man, maybe I even have a chance. I mean, I didn't know. And so I submitted everything. I did the check-in at the halfway point. I didn't win anything for that. But then I finished, and I don't know. I just kept thinking, well, maybe. Well, then the day that they were supposed to notify the winners kind of passed. And but then, like, I don't know, a week later, I got a phone call from corporate office, and I finished in the top 38. There were over 10,000 people that did it. And I was so excited. I think the guy that called me was probably like, this lady is just nutso. And I was cleaning the garage when he called. And yeah, it was pretty exciting. And so I won some cool stuff. I won $500 cash. I don't know. There was probably almost $500 worth of gifts in the bag they gave me at convention. So that was pretty cool. And I was like, man, it pays to get healthy. So then we were getting ready to go on a cruise. So
yeah, I picked the right part.
Yes. Yeah, because she got a bag too full of stuff. We got like a Fitbit, and we got like a smart water bottle, and tons of like samples there. I bet there was like, I don't know, 5 different hunger control slim samples, like 7 or 3 day I don't know, there's a bunch of samples in there, just a ton of stuff, plexus stretch bands and all sorts of stuff. But anyway, that was really exciting. But that was the first time where I was like, oh my gosh, I can really do this. Well, then we went on vacation, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to enjoy myself on vacation. But I'm like, I've made such progress. Well, why would I stop now? So, but just kind of a little side note about inflammation. So I had been eating totally clean for 60 days. We drove 28 hours straight down to Florida, to Orlando, and got there. My ankles were not even puffy. I mean, I was good to go. I used to drive 5 hours, and my ankles were so swollen from inflammation. But then I enjoyed myself on the cruise and ate some things that, not nearly like I would have before, but I enjoyed myself and had a few frou-frou drinks. And on the way back, yeah, my ankles were puffy by the time I got home. And I was like, oh my gosh, just so crazy. Just that, that week that we were gone, eating some things that just aren't good for you, how fast it can give you inflammation. But anyway, after that, people started asking. They saw that I was losing weight and things were changing. And I even had some people say, you are just so happy. And, you just seem so cheerful, and I see you out walking. And so not only the notice of my outward appearance, but just like my attitude. I always tried to be a happy person, but just my genuine joy in my face, and that my skin looked brighter. I looked happier. So that's when
the outside watching your transformation, not just the outside, right? But like you and I have talked about this, Lisa, like not only not posting a selfie, but like Lisa was scared to just send a voice message to me, right?
Yeah.
So we had talked
Yeah.
about that. Like she just was so nervous to record that voice message. And I don't know, I think all of you I know all of you on this Zoom right now, you like just to watch and see what she posts and how she posts on Facebook, like the vibrancy, the silly, the playful, the passionate, the compassionate, like there has been such a sizable change just from seeing on the outside. It's remarkable. It's a remarkable thing to see what God has been doing in your life, Lisa, through this journey. To see you from being in a shell, closed off and small, to seeing you living your life and kicking your husband's butt in the
On tonight.
let's fast forward. How many days have you walked 10,000 steps? What are you on?
So Saturday was 400 days. So what's today? Sunday, Monday? Is today Monday? Yeah. So today's 402, but I'm actually not quite there. I gotta get out. I need a few more steps tonight. So I'll get there though. I'm not worried. But anyway, you know, this
402 days of solidly, consistently every day walking 10,000 steps.
and I've had to get creative. Some days were hard. Like when we drove for 28 hours to Florida, like I got up at 5:00 in the morning and got my 10,000 steps in before we drove because I had to make it. I know it sounds silly. We're on the cruise. I'm walking around the cruise ship because they have like a walking path every day. Just there was actually one night, we drove up to Iowa and it was really close and I hadn't made it yet. And so I had my husband drop me off about a half mile from my parents' house. We'd been driving for like 6.5 hours. I'm like, I got to walk home because I'm not going to get my steps. So I walked in the dark at like 11:30 at night, the rest of the way home to my parents so I could finish my 10,000. Hey, Mark. So, yeah, it's been, some days it's hard some days, but I have just told myself that I was not going to lay my head down on the pillow until I did it. And it was just one thing that I could do for myself every single day. And I was going to make it a priority. And so I have. And now it's kind of like Brad will come home from work. He'll be like, how many more steps do we have left tonight? And it's just been such a time that we have together that we can get out, walk, and talk. And
okay. So let's do this compare and contrast. Before you started this journey, you had the plantar fasciitis.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You had the fatigue. You had the anxiety. You had the gastrointestinal troubles. You had pain in your joints and your ligaments. So how likely would it have been pre this journey that you would have done even a week of 10,000 steps every day?
Well, I just couldn't. I probably really couldn't have done even 10,000 in a day just because my body just couldn't do it. And like I said before, I would try to get out and exercise, but then I'd have so much pain, but when I came back, I couldn't go the next day. It was I just couldn't. And I just believe I had so much inflammation in my body. I know if you've seen any of my before pictures, even compared to when I had only lost like 25 pounds. I mean, it was just amazing, the difference in my face and with the inflammation. And I've lost a lot more than that now. Yay, yay, yay. Which is not the most important thing, but I'll surely tell you it's a great bonus. The best thing is that I feel good. And I can enjoy the time with my family. But when I decided that, I know one of the things that you had said you wanted me to talk a little bit about was when I had decided that maybe I wanted to make it a business. So this summer, I mean, as I've been progressing with, with my weight loss and eating healthy, and I told Brad, I said, I know people need this. People need this. I mean, look at what it's done for me. And so I just felt God nudging me that I needed to share, just because I know that people suffer like I did. And so I started to pray about it. And in the mornings when Brad and I would pray, I would just pray, Lord, if this is what you want for me to do, if you want me to share this, then put the people there. And he has. I mean, he has brought people to me, and now I'm even starting to reach out. I'm being a little bit more brave, but he has brought people to me asking questions, and but I've had to step up and do my part too. I did a big thing in August. I set up a booth at the birthday bash, at our 150th birthday bash for our town, which was huge for me. I mean, some people were asking about what I was doing. Other people were not asking, but I know they were wondering. And so I decided to do that. And no one signed up, but I had like 12 people want more information. And since then, some of those people have signed up. But I prayed a lot, and I've just felt like God wants me to share. He wants me to give this hope to other people. I mean, that little bit of hope is what has got me where I am today. His nudging for me to do this. And I wholeheartedly believe that God put Plexus in my life, and he put Billy there to share it. And she was obedient, and she was brave, and she shared. And I'm so thankful. I've told her thank you so many times, but I cannot say it enough, because I look at where I was and where I am, and I'm never going back. I am never going back there. So, yeah.
I think about this, and I think about, like, so many times people wonder internally about, in their life, am I really making a difference in somebody else's life? Am I really making a difference? And I think about this interaction between Billy and between Lisa, and I think to myself, like, Billy stepping out, which to know Billy is to know that to reach out in that way is way outside of her comfort zone. Am I right, Billy, that that's outside of your comfort zone? Mm-hmm. Just a little bit, yeah. But to hear Lisa talk about what that meant and what that has meant to her life and the quality of her life, and then to hear now how Lisa is taking that and spreading it to other people in her life. I know that when people look at our social media feed, that is not what they understand. Right. But I'm telling you right now, that is the crux of what this is about. This is about one person at a time saying yes for themselves, and then yes for someone else, and just passing the torch on and on and on. And there will be a lot of people who give up on themselves, who start this journey and will not complete it, right? And that's a tragedy, but honestly, what it is it's a reflection of they're not there yet in their journey. They're still in the point of either looking for a quick fix, maybe they're not desperate enough, or maybe they're in a pattern of they give up on themselves a lot. And this is just the next thing, right?
Mhm.
For the people who stay the course, this has the potential to completely change their life. That is legacy. That is something you can rest your head on your pillow and feel really, really good about, that you were able to be that agent. And I'm going to ask you, Lisa, for whoever might listen to this, watch this in the days ahead, who knows, what would be one message of encouragement that you would offer them, whether or not they are brand new at taking their products or brand new at sharing their products, or maybe just feeling like stuck? What would be a message that you would want them to know?
Well, first of all, just be consistent. There were days that I didn't really know if it was making a difference, but I made myself just be consistent, and keep sharing. At first I didn't want to share, because I was like, well, people can't see a difference in me. I want to wait until I really can see a change and then I'll share. But I did start sharing a little bit before that. Rachel and Billy had encouraged me in that, to not to wait to share, and keep sharing. People are watching, even when sometimes I get frustrated and I get down, because it's like I can make a post about our rodeo golf and I get like 100 likes, but then I post something about plexus and I have like 2, and it's you guys. And it's like, but don't get frustrated. Don't feel down about that, because I was that person that just watched. I don't even know, Billy, did you even know that I was contemplating this so much until I messaged you? I mean, I think I might have hit like a couple times on some of her posts, but I never commented, I don't think. So I was that person that just watched. And then when it was time, Bob Heilig says, well, it's not their 12 o'clock. It was not my 12 o'clock yet. But then when it was my 12 o'clock, that was when I reached out to her and I was like, tell me about this. So, keep sharing. And one thing, once you do share, follow up, because that's one thing. When I first started and I shared with a few people, I wasn't very good about that. And I have some friends that tried for a month or not even a month, and then they said, oh, well, I'm not feeling any different. And I didn't really know how to lead them. And so they didn't keep going. And now I'm like, I need to reach out to them and say, you know what, I did not do a good job. But and just try to encourage them to maybe try again. But make sure you follow up. And then the other thing I just want to say is care for yourself. It's not selfish to make yourself a priority, because in order to care for the other people in your life the way God wants you to care for them, you have to care for yourself first. And that's one thing that he is really teaching me, is that, he's given me this temple and he wants me to treasure it. And by treasuring it and taking care of it, then I can serve others the way he wants me to serve them. And so I guess those are the biggest things, and small steps. If you're going to make your goals, just do one thing at a time. And a lot of small steps is going to make big change. That's at least what has happened for me. So, but stick with it. These products work. They help your body function the way God intended, and it takes time. It didn't take, just a month or 2 months for your body to get to the place that it is now. So it's going to take a while for it to heal. But, unlike medications that just mask your symptoms, these products get to the root cause and they address the root cause. And I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but we're in a small group, but I mean, I have experienced great healing in my body, and I'm just so thankful. I am so very thankful.
I am thankful for you. I know this is very much outside of your comfort zone, but you know what? In that space outside of our comfort zone, where God carries us, when it's in our
Right.
comfort zone, it's up to us. And, you know, when we step beyond that, it's up to him. And what he does with that. And so I really, truly believe, Lisa, that God is going to honor your boldness, this. I promised you at the end of this that I would have a challenge. And I
Hey,
really,
can I say one more? Can I
Yeah.
say one more thing?
Yeah.
I didn't really get to talk. I didn't really talk much about this community, but I am so thankful. That was one unexpected blessing for me. Just the love and the support and the encouragement that you guys have given me. You know, I would also encourage everyone just to get involved with the group and share and just reach out to other people. Because it has been such a blessing to me. I was scared to go to the first convention, but when I went, I mean, I knew I was going to know Billy and Laura there, but I was so excited to meet all these other people that I recognize their face like from this big. And it's just been such a blessing. And, you know, when I hit silver, I mean, I had Rachel, you sent me a gift, and Christy and Billy. I mean, I'm getting gifts and people just pouring into me and loving me, even when I didn't believe in myself. You guys were believing in me. So that has just been another blessing. So I would encourage people to get involved with the group and just make connections and make friends.
I love it.
Okay, sorry.
No, that was good. The challenge. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm not challenging everyone to walk 402 days. Although if you want to, you can. I mean, it will be good for you. But I really do believe that what would happen instead of if you set these big, audacious, huge things, what would happen if you said, okay, you know what, Lisa walks consistently 10,000 steps. What would it mean for me to reach out to 3 people every day? What would it mean if every day I had the commitment that every day, it's not 10,000 steps, it's reaching out to 3 people and sharing what this means to me, whatever plexus means to you, just sharing it with 3 people every day. Would it be hard? Absolutely. But is that 10 people? I mean, if you want to do 10 people, knock yourself out. But what would happen if you just did 3? Every day, consistently. You showed up, you kept it simple, and you said, you know what, at least from now until Christmas, I'm going to do it. I'm going to reach out to 3 people every day from now until Christmas, a minimum of 3 people. You might be like Lisa and decide after Christmas, I'm going to keep on going. Maybe you'll build on it. I mean, shoot. This is just a gift that is too good to keep to yourself. And honestly, I made a live about it, but the simple gist of it is if Plexus has done something for your health, if it has changed something, if it's gotten you off the couch, if it's made you smile or laugh more, if it's given you anything and you're not sharing it, you know why you're not sharing it? You're not sharing it because of your own fear and your own insecurity, and it's not about the other people. It's about you. And I just think about how many people, I know I was in the same boat as Lisa, and I know there's a lot of people that join for different reasons, but there's a lot of people on the cusp of that 12 o'clock hour who are feeling desperate. And I would hate it for them to get there and not know about this because any one of us was just too afraid, right? Or inconvenienced.
Right.
So that is my challenge, to walk like Lisa. You don't have to walk like Lisa to walk 402 days. Walk like Lisa and start sharing every day, okay? So I'm going to stop here because Hayden obviously needs to go to bed. And this has been really good. And I'll just leave it at that. Thank you so much, Lisa.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Night.